a journey of enlightenment. But if poetry's not really your thing, no matter. This life story of exquisite gloom is an extraordinary piece of work. It includes some sex and very strong language.
You're going to do this properly, I hope. We're not going to get another masterpiece of muddle and hurry, are we?
Don't worry, Mr. Larkin. Faber's given us strict guidelines.
Only there are usually noises off, you know. Bloody toilets, police sirens, poltergeistic bumps, God knows what.
It's all under control, sir. Just need to set up the tape.
Let's get on with it, then. I'm missing the cricket.
Tape rolling.
When I see a couple of kids and guess he's fucking her, and she's taking pills or wearing a diaphragm, I know this is paradise everyone old has dreamed of all their lives. Bonds and gestures pushed to one side like an outdated combine harvester, and everyone young going down the long slide to happiness endlessly. I wonder if anyone looked at me 40 years back and thought, that'll be the life. And immediately, rather than words, comes the thought of high windows, the sun-comprehending glass, and beyond it, the deep blue air that shows nothing, and is nowhere, and is endless. I think I just felt librarianship would suit me. It has the right blend of academic interest and administration that seems to match my particular talents, such as they are.
But what about outside the library? You're unmarried, I believe.
Yes, yes.
Any interests we should know about?
Well, I've had a couple of novels published, modest efforts, and a volume of poetry. Rambling, of course, I should enjoy exploring the moors.
You know the moors?
So calm, so wide, so still.
That's the end.
Takes my breath away. Every time.
Come on. I want to go on this new toy of yours.
Miss Fairfax, ever since I met you, I have admired you more than any girl I have ever met since I met you.
Yes, I am quite well aware of the fact, and I often wish that in public, at any rate, you would be more demonstrative. For me, you have always had an irresistible fascination.
You really love me, Gwendolen?
Passionately.
Darling, you don't know how happy you've made me.
My own Ernest.
Gwendolen, will you marry me?
Of course I will, darling.
Mr. Worthing, rise, sir, from this semi-recumbent posture. It is most indecorous.
What's that?
My Lady Bracknell. Christ, I can't get this. One word, two syllables, meaning emblem or sign.
Context?
It's about that tomb we saw in Chichester, you remember? The Earl and Countess holding hands. I need something for the last verse. The stone fidelity they hardly meant has come to be their final something. Emblem's just boring.
There is something. One of those heraldic words.
What did Keats say? If poetry come not as naturally as leaves to a tree.
It had better not come at all. Oh, you'll get it. It always feels like this. I'm glad you're coming back. Belfast was too sporadic. I'll be much happier knowing you're up there in Hull.
And I shall be happy knowing you're down here in Leicester. Did I tell you I started stammering again in the interview? Suddenly came on me.
What brought that on? Some penetrating cross-examination on the politics of the issue, Des?
No, it was nothing, really. They asked me if I was married. Idiotic.
Blazon.
Hmm?
The sign, not emblem. Blazon.
Blazon. You clever rabbit. Yes!
Read it?
Well, I've got an ending now. The stone fidelity they hardly meant has come to be their final blazon. And to prove our almost instinct almost true, what will survive of us is love. Is that just beautiful crap? I think a librarian can be one of a number of things. A pure scholar, a technician, an administrator, or just a nice chap to have around, which I hope is the role I fill. Whether or not you agree will, I'm sure, make itself known in the fullness of time. Thank you. Not sure about those uniforms. Rather shapeless, aren't they?
We're a library, Mr. Larkin, not a fashion house.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. I shall bear that in mind. I should also warn you, I've had a chance to look at the plans for the new building. Looks like a provincial cinema, and an empty one at that.
I'm afraid I know little of the provincial cinema, Mr. Larkin. However, those plans were deemed perfectly satisfactory up till now.
I dare say. Sorry to be so new broomy about it all.
That's all right, Mr. Larkin. I shall be in my room if you need me.
Was that a bit wrong footish of me, do you think?
Yes, it was. Fun, though. It's not just the socks. Keeps a copy of Vogue in his briefcase. I think he might be a bit homo-sexy.
A copy of...
He's a poet, apparently.
We thought we'd call ourselves the Marvel Press.
Marvel as in the Bard of Humberside?
Yeah, partly that. Partly because it'll be a bloody marvel if we ever get the thing off the ground. Shall I take it?
She's fine. You'll have to excuse us, Mr. Larkin.
It'll soon wear off, I'm sure. We'll be slugging it out with rolling pins like everyone else. Listen, old man, we can't promise you much, but you'll get the things into print, and we'll do our damnedest to flog them around a bit.
It's an unusually worded offer, but it's the best one I've had yet. In fact, it's the only one I've had yet.
What will you call it, the collection?
The Less Deceived, I thought. It's from Hamlet, when he tells Ophelia he doesn't love her after all, that he was deceiving himself. She says, I was the more deceived. Well,
I don't know what to say.
that's a first.
Thank you.
It's your book, Bun. I don't think it would have happened without you.
Tell me about Hull, then. Always feels rather on the road to nowhere to me.
It's flat and stinks of fish.
Dick's still awful.
Loathsome. There's a Negro in the next room who'd benefit enormously from a pair of bedroom slippers. And I think the people below me are in some sort of training for the door-slamming Olympics.
There was a job advertised recently in the English department.
In Hull? I'm not sure they'd sell mauve bed sheets in Hull, Bun.
They don't in Leicester. I brought them with me. You like them, don't you?
Well, there is something oddly alluring about them.
Why don't you tell the university that you'd like a little place for two?
Bun... Oh, God. Bun, I said I'd see Mother before I went back.
Very thin. Not like a real book.
Volumes of poetry are seldom doorstops, Mrs. Larkin, hence slim volume of poetry.
Oh, to Monica Jones. That's nice. What a lovely thought.
Monica's been a great inspiration to me.
Shall I put the flowers in a vase?
Oh, no, leave them, Miss Jones. But you're very kind. They're very nice.
It's Monica, Mother. You don't have to keep calling her Miss Jones.
Well, they'll have to go outside anyway. Anything larger than a primrose just tickles my sinuses.
But they'll die if we leave them there.
They will anyway.
Oh, Philip, fetch Monica a mat. You don't want rings. That was Daddy's reading table. I like the colours. Olive and pink. Like a nice eiderdown. It's good news about the flat, don't you think?
I'm sorry?
Philip's flat. It's nice that they came up with something for him. Well, you are going to take it, aren't you?
Philip?
No, I haven't decided yet. Nothing definite.
Sounds perfect. Little self-contained bachelor flat. We've had quite enough of being bothered with doors and whatnot. You're very lucky, Monica.
Am I?
Carrying off those bright colours. And your lovely hair. I couldn't go blonde. I don't have the personality.
I'm sorry, Bun.
I should have guessed. 5 years, Philip. Why should it change now?
When I was a child, I thought, casually, that solitude never needed to be sought. Something everybody had. Like nakedness, it lay at hand, not specially right or specially wrong. A plentiful and obvious thing, not at all hard to understand. Then, after 20, it became at once more difficult to get and more desired, though all the same more undesirable. For what you are alone has, to achieve the rank of fact, to be expressed in terms of others, or it's just a compensating make-believe. Viciously then, I lock my door. The gas fire breathes. The wind outside ushers in evening rain. Once more, uncontradicting solitude supports me on its giant palm. And like a sea anemone, or simple snail, there cautiously unfolds, emerges, what I am.
Mr. Larkin, your recent collection, The Less Deceived, seems to have rocketed you into public consciousness.
I'm not sure about rocketed.
Many of your poems seem to be about unhappiness, loss, a sense of missing out. Is this a fair impression of the way you see life?
Well, as Montalon says somewhere, happiness writes white. I think writing about unhappiness is probably the source of my popularity, if I have any. After all, most people are unhappy, don't you think?
Slightly more flattering cut. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Wood?
I thought the blue perfectly acceptable, Mr. Larkin.
For a hairdressing salon, perhaps. Now, I should also like to set up some tuition classes for the Library Association examination. This will benefit all of you and the library. If anyone is interested, please come and see me. Thank you. Yes, Miss Brennan.
I should very much like to do the exam.
Good. Splendid. Well, Well, we should fix up a date, a time to meet.
Telephone, Mr. Larkin. Here's Miss Jones. Says it's urgent.
Really? I should take this, Miss Brennan. Would you excuse me?
Yes, Miss Jones, what can I do for you?
Son, what is it?
I don't know what to do. It feels so empty.
I know. I remember when Pop died, thinking, it's all gone. The creator was gone.
I know you hate talking about this, but now that Daddy's gone, there's nothing for me here.
I know what you want, Bun. I'm sorry. It's still the old Connolly thing with me. Pram in the hall, enemy of art and all that.
I'm not trying to frog march you up the aisle, for God's sake. It's just, if I could find something in Hull.
We're fine as we are, Bun, aren't we?
You're fine as we are, Philip! You're right. Getting needy, hateful, just feel like rather an orphan. Oh, God, listen to me. Shall we have some tea?
I should be getting off.
You're going to stay, aren't you? You can't get a train back tonight.
I said I'd see Mother as I was down. I said I'd stay. Better on your own, Bun. With these things. I can't.
Go on. You'd better go.
I'm sorry, Bun. Miss Brennan, on your own?
Well, Belinda was messing around. I told her I couldn't wait forever. I hope that was all right, Mr. Larkin.
Perfect. Fine.
Oh, thank you. What a lot of steps.
39.
Oh, really? How funny. Oh, more books.
Yes, I'm afraid so. Let me take your coat.
Oh, thank you. Is this where you write?
Well, it's where I try.
We all heard you on the wireless.
Oh, did you really?
Well, you're almost famous, aren't you, really?
Hardly even almost, I'd have thought.
Oh, a man said you'd rocketed into the public's, something.
Consciousness.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do sit down, Miss Brennan, please. Shall I take that?
Oh, thank you. I've made some notes from the textbook you gave me, Mr. Larkin.
Oh. Would you care for a drink, Miss Brennan?
Oh, better not.
Tea?
No, thank you, Mr. Larkin.
You can call me Philip, you know. Off limits.
Oh, right. Philip. That's the same name as my, well, it's my boyfriend, I suppose.
Oh. Well.
Not that it's that serious.
Oh.
But I'm sure that's of no interest to you.
No. Well, so may I call you Maeve?
Yes.
Good. Right. Shall we get down to it then? Left a bit. That's it.
I like it.
What did you?
I like it. I like
Joining
the
you.
words you say and all the things you do. And I like the way you straighten the tie.
I think it works.
And I like the way you wink in your eye. And I know I like you. You know I like you. that again. You're driving me insane. Kiss me once more. That's another thing I like you for. I like it, I like it. Are you liking it too?
It reminded me of you.
Oh,
My little mouse.
he's so sweet.
It's good, isn't it? You shall have a whole choir of them. When first we faced, and touching showed how well we knew the early moves, behind the moonlight and the frost, the excitement and the gratitude, there stood how much our meeting owed to other meetings, other loves. But when did love not try to change the world back to itself? No cost, no past, no people else at all. Only what meeting made us feel. So new and gentle sharp and strange.
That's so sad. And romantic.
It's useless. You can hear music. I said there was something when we did it.
Oh, it's a bit of ghosting or some such. The chap said we could get away with a few noises.
A few noises? It's a bloody symphony orchestra. Where are you going?
Sorry, bit of a training thing at work.
Window dressing workshop.
Bye-bye, my darlings. Larkin?
Most writers have publishers who dress at Austin Reed. I have one who works there. I'm sorry, Mrs. Hartley, but it's a farce. It's not on.
For God's sake. Don't you ever stop moaning for 2 seconds.
Any booze in the place? They want children. They like teens. They want the chance of parading all the empty haberdashery they're stocked with. Above all, women like feeling they own you, or that you own them, a thing I hate. Don't make your house in my mind. Who said that? God knows, but yes.
And these creatures are so awful you got 2 of them on the go at the same time.
Maeve isn't exactly what I would call on the go.
But you've obviously moved on a bit from the Library Association tutorials.
Do you analyse all your poets like this?
Only those foolish enough to end up in Hull.
God knows how I got into this. I'm actually rather faithful by nature. I think to an extent Monica and I have become each other. Do you think that's love?
You're the poet. What about Maeve? Is that love?
I don't know. In a way, she's rather ordinary. No, not ordinary. Normal. Everything's so natural. She makes me feel like just another man for a change, not some freak. No, except I dare say just another man would have fucked her by now. Sorry. Booze talk. Christ, what is this stuff? Chateau du Détol.
So you haven't?
Mm-hmm. Well, let's face it, I know Ted Hughes in the charisma department. And there's a rather more serious obstacle. Came to a bit of a head the other night. She just passed her Library Association exam. We had a lovely evening. I bought her a little present.
Oh, Philip. It's beautiful.
There's the note.
For Maeve herself, for Joe. Will you put it on me? How does it look?
Wonderful.
Have you got a mirror? Men have never got enough mirrors.
Well, only in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I met you. I'm so happy.
So am I. Maeve, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, it's me.
I want you so very much.
I know. Oh, mauve sheets. Oh, you are a dark horse, aren't you?
No, I'm not at all.
I'm so...
I wasn't thinking.
I'm sorry,
just...
Philip. She's very striking.
Is she?
Mm. Are we very different?
I suppose so.
You make love with her, don't you?
I have. Did, I suppose. Have, yes. But you always knew that, didn't you? It's the Catholic thing, isn't it?
It's a bit more than a thing, Philip. It means the whole world to me. I thought you realized that. It's how I live. It's why I live. I will not go against it. I thought, well, we had something more important than just sex.
Where are you going?
I don't think I should come between you and Monica anymore.
It's a bit late for that.
Well, does she know about me, Philip? I thought not.
I'll never marry Monica. I can't, not now I've met you. But I can't abandon her. Not at the moment. She's too fragile. I don't know what to do. I just don't know. Cost me 12 quid, that bloody pendant. Hello, Bun.
Hello. Enemy at the gate. You like the red suspenders?
Sorry, Bun. Long day. Shall we do the crossword?
Mauve sheets look nice on.
Hmm.
Talking in bed ought to be easiest. Lying together there goes back so far. An emblem of two people being honest. Yet more and more time passes silently. Outside, the wind's incomplete unrest builds and disperses clouds about the sky, and dark towns heap up on the horizon. None of this cares for us. Nothing shows why, at this unique distance from isolation, it becomes still more difficult to find words at once true and kind, or not untrue and not unkind.
What are you doing, Bun? No one ever reads my diaries, you know that.
Philip, I'm sorry.
No one, not even you. These are me, just me. You can't have everything.
Everything! I've got nothing! I was reading because I have to know.
Know what?
Whether you love me. There. Pathetic, isn't it? So boringly female. You never say it, ever. And something's changing. I can feel it. Silence. You're very good at silence. I'm sorry. I'm being silly again. Silly, weak woman. I hate it.
There's only you, Bun. Really.
So, have you got a family then, Maeve?
Of course she's got a family, Mother.
You have to be so careful, don't you?
Do you remember what that cranium man said about you when you were young? He said you'd always go your own way. There'd be no telling you. And he said you'd get married late in life. Of course, that was where I met Daddy. One of those phrenology sideshows they had in the old days. Wouldn't have thought he'd have been at a thing like that.
Come to scoff, I shouldn't wonder.
And they did a free reading of the heads, just to draw attention. And Mother went up straight away, and the man said all these marvellous things about her and her character. And so then I went up. And he didn't say anything special about me at all.
Oh, dear.
He said you were very tidy, didn't he?
Oh, yes. And that I must never marry a Johnny with his cuffs down to his fingers. And then the crowd dispersed, and there was this man walking along with me, and I thought, oh dear.
And that was Pop.
Next day, he sought me out on the beach. I looked up from my book, and there he was, and he asked me what I was reading.
And what were you reading?
Wuthering Heights.
Oh, that's so romantic. Heathcliff.
Anyway.
That's a pretty little card.
Oh, that's one of Philip's. We like rabbits, don't we? He does little drawings on them for me.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I've told him he should do them for the papers.
They're only to keep you amused, you silly creature.
Show Maeve some of the others.
Mother, I don't think.
Come on, show me. Shall I put another kettle on?
Oh, yes, go on.
Come on.
Oh, all right. She likes you. They keep her company.
You're such a good man. Nice new glasses, Mr. Larkin. You look terribly important.
Oh, I am, Miss Brennan, I am. Mr. Wood?
Mr. Larkin?
least they're not pink.
Yes, Betty, I know. New spectacles, new me.
Monica. She doesn't know. Monica arrived very early.
Bun. What a nice surprise.
Christ, what are those?
Fresh off the slab. What do you think? God, you look dreadful. Are you ill?
I've been up all night. Got the first train here. We're inspecting the talent, the birds.
Bun, what is
Look
it?
at the tits on that one. Get that arse of mine shoving into that. You've been lying to me, Philip. I've tried not to mind. I've tried and tried and tried.
Not here, for God's sake.
There's someone else, isn't there?
Monica, we'll talk later.
You must be honest with me.
Please, not now.
It's the least I deserve!
Oh, how could there be anyone else, Bun? Christ, look at me. I'm hardly... Where did you get that?
By your bed, Philip. Your bed. The truth.
There is someone else.
Oh, God. No, don't.
It's not quite what you think.
Tell me.
We've not had sex, I promise you. On my absolute honor, Bun.
Please. I can't believe you would even contemplate the effort of an affair if there was no sex.
She's a Catholic, very strict.
You stupid man. You can't even have an affair properly. Catholic?
You see, it's not that serious. I didn't tell you. I couldn't bear to hurt you, Bun.
Don't touch me. If you touch me, it's no good.
I can't let you go, Bun. That's the truth.
Difficult, aren't they, Philip? Silences.
Bun, I've just been awarded the Queen's Gold Medal for poetry.
Congratulations.
Mr. Larkin.
Mr. Wood, I said
Mr.
not
Larkin, the
now.
architects are waiting.
That was Monica, wasn't it, Philip?
Miss Brennan, please.
Philip.
Philip? Oh.
Well, don't just stand there, Mr. Wood. Ambulance!
Well, if they can't find anything wrong, Philip, you must have just fainted.
We seldom see a sarcoma as far advanced as this.
Oh, it's nothing like that.
Auden.
Poppycock. It was your new glasses. They're not bedded in yet.
Hmm.
And I've told you before about those tight shirt collars you wear.
Yeah. Thank you for the grapes. Not that I deserve them, I suppose.
I thought the library was ours. I thought at least we had the library.
I know, I'm sorry.
Still, at least she knows about me now. And that's only fair. I don't see why I should be, well, the invisible one.
The thing about grapes is you never know whether to crunch the pips and swallow or eject immediately. I knew a
Philip,
chap
you
once.
can't avoid this forever.
I wouldn't bank on that.
How can you joke about it?
Maybe this is God's way of telling us to put the brakes on for a bit.
Oh, take them off completely.
There is no more somber enemy of good art than the pram in the hall. Cyril Connolly. I'm rather a fan.
Well, I don't know about all those sharp people, Philip. I just know what I believe. I don't understand. You keep telling me you love me.
I do, my darling.
Well, then it seems so simple to me. Why do you have to think everything out of existence?
Oh, Maeve. You've given me so much, and all I do is bring you doubt and uncertainty.
Well, stop it then. It's easy. Anyway, Betty's waiting. Library business.
Betty's always waiting, Maeve. Don't go.
Don't worry, I'll be back. Someone's got to fetch in the grapes, haven't they?
Tough little madam than she'd have you believe, isn't she? I put all this down to bad diet, you know. Bad diet leads to a muddled head.
Thank you, Betty.
Well, you lack iron.
In In my diet or in my soul?
Both. Time you learned a bit of positive thinking.
They give me medals for negative thinking, Betty. I'm not stopping now.
I steered Monica through into the other ward. Shall I fetch you through?
Bun?
I'm going to buy a house.
A house?
A cottage, actually. Somewhere I saw rather took a fancy to it.
A cottage? Where? In Leicester? Do they have cottages in Leicester?
It's in a place called Heydon Bridge, Northumbria.
Northumbria? Christ, that's practically Scotland. Why?
It's something I want, so I'm going to do it. And, well, there's something else. I've been asked out. By someone. A man.
What?
One of my students.
But they're always asking you out, beady little shaggers. You despise them. Oh, God.
I was going to tell you anyway. We can't just meander on forever. Not now.
I'm sorry, Bun. I don't know how all this has happened. Are you going to fuck him?
We've only been out once. I don't suppose anything will come of it.
So you've already started seeing him? Is that it?
I've got a train to catch.
Why does everyone keep going?
Oh, you'll be fine. They tell me you'll be out before Christmas. Your mother will be pleased.
Fuck my mother. Oh, God, Bun.
Take care.
Bun.
When the wind through the willow blows across your pillow and tells you sleeping is wrong, if love goes a-thirsting till you feel like bursting, then nothing but the blues are brewing, the blues are brewing. Suppose you want somebody, but you ain't got nobody. You only got a gleam in your eye.
Stewed with worries, that's what that was. You're just like me. You stew. Of course, Daddy never did. Wouldn't let anything touch him. Oh, it's nearly time. Turn it on, Philip. Needs to warm up. I expect it'll wobble. It always seems to wobble for me. Hey, it's wobbling. Can't you do something, Philip?
Wait.
You don't need women, Philip. You're better off without them. I'm sure Daddy would say the same.
Speaking from her home in Sandringham.
You have to wait for the valves.
Her Majesty...
Oh, there she is.
A happy Christmas to you all.
Oh, I don't like her
My
hair
husband
like that.
and children, join me
Nice
in thanking all of you
curtains.
who have
We
kept
had
us
some like that in Manor Road.
They fuck you up, your mum and dad. They may not mean to, but they do.
They fill you with the faults they had and add some extra just for you. But they were fucked up in their turn by fools in old-style hats and coats, who half the time were soppy stern and half at one another's throats. Man hands on misery to man. It deepens like a coastal shelf. Get out as early as you can, and don't have any kids yourself.
Did I hear someone pulling a lavatory chain during that? Don't think so, old man. It's quiet as the dead in here.
Thank you, George. I'll do the poetry. Right, can we move on? Only I'm double parked.
Parked?
Parked, George. My car. Didn't I tell you about my car? Where's Jean, by the way? I think she deserves a viewing. I thought everything was fine with you two. I was banking on it. Yours was the only marriage I've ever seen vaguely working.
Sorry to disillusion you.
Bloody ponce.
He's not getting my next book. He knows that, doesn't he?
You've outgrown us, Philip. We both know that.
What will you do?
Find somewhere to rent. Back on the welfare, I suppose. Be a relief, to tell you the truth.
If you need any help, I mean it, Jean.
I know.
Should we have sex, do you think?
I don't think so, do you?
No, probably not. I thought it proper to ask.
Thank you. How's Maeve?
Oh, I'm trying my best. You all right, Alison?
Piggy rat.
Oh. Oh! Oh! Dear. God. Here it is. There seems to be a campaign afoot to make me more like other people.
Very smart. What is it?
A gazelle. I thought we were going for a drive.
Well, I didn't say definitely, Philip.
You didn't tell me about any concert. I could have taken you to a concert.
Well, you don't tell me everything. What about your weekends with Monica? I don't complain, do I?
Who are you going with?
Just some friends.
Men?
There'll be men there. Yes, there's a group of us. Oh, don't be like this. You've got no right to be like this, Philip.
I'm doing my best, Maeve. I am trying.
You know what I want.
This is the BBC Third Programme. And now for this afternoon's concert, broadcast live from City Hall, Hull.
Giant whispering and coughing from vast Sunday full and organ frowned on spaces precede a sudden scuttle on the drum. The Queen and huge resettling. Then begins a snivel on the violins. I think of your face among all those faces, beautiful and devout, before cascades of monumental slithering. One of your gloves unnoticed on the floor, beside those new, slightly outmoded shoes. Here it goes quickly dark. I lose all but the outline of the still and withering leaves on half-empty trees. Behind the glowing wave bands, rabid storms of chording, by being distant, overpower my mind all the more shamelessly. Their cut-off shout, leaving me desperate to pick out your hands, tiny in all that air, applauding.
Philip, that's so beautiful.
Well, it's not quite there yet, but, you know.
So will that, I mean, in your book, will I... I suppose in a way it worked out better, didn't it? I mean, it was better. You didn't go to the concert after all.
Yes, you're right. It was better.
I don't suppose,
Of course. It's for you.
Philip, it's your mother.
Daddy? Daddy? Oh, Daddy? Is that you, Daddy? Daddy?
Mother, it's Philip.
Where have you been, Daddy? We've been looking for you. You're not Daddy.
It's me, you silly old creature.
Where's Daddy? I thought he would have been here.
It's me, Philip, your son. It's not Daddy. I'm not Daddy.
Oh, you're not Daddy.
You had a nasty fall. What were you doing?
He was such a stern man. So cold. Always gentle with me, though. Never hurt me. Not like that.
You had a fall.
What are you reading? Wuthering Heights, I said. And there you were, weren't you, Daddy?
Oh, I'm not Daddy. I'm not Daddy, you stupid, senile, whining...
Philip?
Mom? I'm sorry, Mom.
Were you speaking?
You're going to be all right, aren't you? Mob, my old creature,
good boy. You're a good boy. Isn't it, Daddy?
What do they think has happened, the old fools, to make them like this? Do they somehow suppose it's more grown up when your mouth hangs open and drools and you keep on pissing yourself and can't remember who called this morning? Or that if they only chose, they could alter things back to when they danced all night, or went to their wedding, or sloped arms some September? Or do they fancy there's really been no change and they've always behaved as if they were crippled or tight, or sat through days of thin, continuous dreaming, watching light move? If they don't, and they can't, it's strange. Why aren't they screaming?
She's practically gaga now. I've had to put her into a nursing home.
I'm sorry. They offered me early retirement last week, you know.
You're joking?
Universities don't want teachers anymore. They want literary careerists. That's not me. I've got the cottage.
Christ, bloody thing.
So you really can choose what you hear.
Sorry? Ho. I put an offer in on some awful house last week.
A house? You?
With a mortgage and a lawn and a fucking washing machine.
It's perfect.
It's ghastly.
Oh, you're going to love it. Oh, so much more airy here. I like it.
Haven't written a word since I moved in. Shall we have a drink?
It's almost exactly the same.
It's downstairs.
Well, that's normal, Philip. It's a house.
Normal. Yes.
Oh, champagne.
My housewarming.
Oh, lovely.
You still wear it?
I love it. I always shall.
I wish we could have been that. Normal.
That's all I've ever wanted. Cry.
Oh, I hope I
Oh, no. It was just so overwhelming.
I sometimes think one ought to be able to order sex and pay for it monthly, like laundry.
Oh, don't say that. I feel like I've given you everything now.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was clumsy. It was absolutely beautiful.
Is it worth the wait?
Need you ask? Would you like me to drive you home?
Drive me home?
Well, it's a bit late for a taxi, I thought.
Oh, don't be silly. I want to stay. All night, just snuggled up. All night. And forever. You want me to go, don't you? Oh, God.
Maeve.
Oh, no.
Maeve.
So, Philip Larkin, a plain man speaking plain truths about plain souls.
I lead a very simple life.
Are you writing much poetry at the moment?
Very little since High Windows was published. I haven't given poetry up, but I rather think it's given me up, which is a great sorrow to me, but not a crushing sorrow. It's a bit like going bald, you know. You can't do anything about it.
And you continue living away from literary society, in Hull?
I've always liked Hull because it's so far away from everywhere else. On the road to nowhere, as someone once said.
Me, you shit. I said it.
You said once that depression was to you what daffodils were to Wordsworth. Do you feel that you could have had a much happier life?
Not without being someone else. I'd like you to have this. It's a personal copy. I shall always think of it as your book. I would have dedicated it to you at the time, but I've written an inscription.
Thank you. That's very kind.
You've taught me more about my emotions than anyone ever has. You're the only woman I've ever really considered marrying. The only woman I've ever wanted to marry. The only woman I've ever believed I could.
I'm afraid that's no good to me anymore, Philip. It's just words. They're beautiful, useless words.
Don't let this be it, please, Maeve.
I feel like I've given you whole chunks of my life. And all you've done is hand them back to me and say sorry.
I can't help it. So trapped in this, in me.
The thing is, I've started seeing someone else.
I understand.
You've hardly got grounds for objecting. This is not me ending it, Philip. It's you. You must realize that. I've loved you as much as I can. I haven't got any more.
Love again. Wanking at 3:10. Surely he's taken her home by now. The bedroom hot as a bakery. The drink gone dead without showing how to meet tomorrow and afterwards. And the usual pain, like dysentery. Someone else feeling her breasts and cunt. Someone else drowned in that lash-wide stare. And me supposed to be ignorant, or find it funny, or not to care, even. But why put it into words? Isolate, rather, this element that spreads through other lives like a tree and sways them on in a sort of sense, and say why it never worked for me. Something to do with violence a long way back, and wrong rewards, and arrogant eternity. What am I going to do now?
Difficult, isn't it?
I used to believe I should perfect the work and life could fuck itself. Now all I've got is a fucked up life.
course, you realise I've been planning this.
Since when?
About 1958.
That's quick for you.
You know practically everything about my life. I know almost nothing about yours.
I play golf. What's Maeve going to make of all this, I wonder?
Nothing, because you're not going to tell her.
You're the boss. I'm not going to marry you, you know.
Thank God for that.
I know you too well.
Hasn't stopped the others trying.
Monica will know.
She won't, because you're not going to tell her either.
Won't have to. Monica will smell it.
Nonsense.
Do we get a poem, then?
Betty? Why, tell me, for God's sake, why put me through it again?
Well, I thought... I mean, Betty... I sort of thought you'd smell it, as it were.
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, God. I'm sorry, Bun. I don't know what the hell's going on anymore.
Are you in love with her?
Don't be absurd.
Is it the sex?
I can't write. Nothing's coming.
You think fucking your secretary is going to get you writing again? It might inspire the odd lurid memo, but writing?
I can't even hear the birds anymore. My doctor says my hearing's now at the threshold of social adequacy. Would that were the only thing.
I'm so tired of all this.
I know. Oh, don't cry, Bun.
I'm not crying. I've got something wrong with my eye. I'm not crying.
Have we wasted our lives?
You've worked. You've written. That's what you wanted, isn't it?
Have I wasted yours?
I don't know, Philip. And I'm really not sure I care anymore.
Oh, sorry. I thought you'd finished with him.
I work all day and get half drunk at night. Waking at 4 to soundless dark, I stare. In time, the curtain edges will grow light. Till then, I see what's really always there. Unresting death, a whole day nearer now. Making all thought impossible, but how and where and when I shall myself die. Arid interrogation. Yet the dread of dying and being dead flashes afresh to hold and horrify. The mind blanks at the glare. Not in remorse, the good not done, the love not given, time torn off unused, nor wretchedly because an only life can take so long to climb clear of its wrong beginnings, and may never. But at the total emptiness forever, the sure extinction that we travel to, and shall be lost in all ways. Not to be here, not to be anywhere, and soon. Nothing more terrible, nothing more true.
Shingles.
Told you I wasn't crying.
Oh, Bun, are you in pain?
Now and then. Very boring. Survived the stairs, though.
Pissed?
Fair to middling. I'm still seeing double, which is odd.
A bottle under the pillow. Very wise.
It's the shingles, you idiot. I can see 2 of everything.
Bun, I'm so glad you're all right. I want you to come back to Hull with me.
Oh, Philip, you don't have to.
I know. I don't have to do anything. But I want you to come home, Bun.
You do work later. The diaries, you should press on.
I'm beginning to lose interest. It's all so awful. It's a summons. They've offered me the laureateship.
I should think so too. You won't take it, of course.
Well, can you imagine penning ditties with some god-awful royal brat? And the British Council parties, abroad for God's sake.
What was that nonsense you wrote for the Jubilee?
Oh, God, I can't remember.
Yes, you can. Something about Healy and Wilson and turning to HM in the end.
After Healy's trading figures, after Wilson's squalid crew, and the rising tide of niggers, what a treat to turn to you. Mr. Larkin, we are sorry to hear you holding these views.
Who will they give it to, then? Don't tell me.
Ted Bloody Hughes. It's the final fucking irony. I shall be responsible for the incredible hulk being buried in Westminster Abbey. Seems to have cured my constipation. The sky split apart in malice. Stars rattle like pans on a shelf. Crow shat on Buckingham Palace. God pissed himself.
Philip? Philip, are you all right? Philip! Philip!
Hello, Maeve, it's me. Well, not too good, actually. Esophagus trouble. They've been trying to make it behave properly. No, I'll be fine. Maeve, dear, I was wondering if you could do me the most colossal favour.
I don't drive.
I know. How is he?
Complaining mostly. The hospital air is practically blue with profanity.
He must be very frightened. I don't think in all the time I've known him I've ever heard Philip swear once.
Hello, Maeve, dear.
How are you?
Wary.
Betty? Oh, he's not still working, is he? I brought some letters. I brought some flowers.
I brought you this.
God, it's like a French farce.
We should leave him to sleep.
Oh, Christ. Fine.
I know.
Destroy the diaries, man. Do you understand?
side by side, their faces blurred. The Earl and Countess lie in stone. Such plainness of the pre-Baroque hardly involves the eye until one sees, with a sharp, tender shock, his hand withdrawn, holding her hand. Rigidly, they persisted, linked, through lengths and breadths of time. Snow fell undated. Light each summer thronged the glass. A bright litter of bird calls strewed the same bone-riddled ground, and up the paths the endless altered people came, washing at their identity. Now, time has transfigured them into untruth. The stone fidelity they hardly meant has come to be their final blazon. And to prove our almost instinct, almost true, what will survive of us is love.
What was that, Mr. Larkin? Did you hear something? Was that a noise?
Deaf as a post, old man.